Have you ever seen the Dutch installing an entire underpass in like a weekend? It's crazy. I tried to take that same kind of energy and put it into the Captain Bob Breakout system, where you can easily remove and upgrade modules as you wish, although much less heavy equipment. To build one of these, you'll need this circuit board, two 40-pin IDC connectors, two 30-pin IDC connectors, and four 20-pin IDC connectors. Some pin headers if you want to do the power supply selection. You could use this DC jack or this screw terminal, a DC shunt for the power selection, and two Arduino Pro Megas. It's pretty simple to assemble. It's all just through-hole pin soldering, and you solder your Arduino to the board. You can also use female pin headers and extend the Arduino out, and this will just let you do a quick swap of these Arduinos, like so. So if this one, say, burns out because you did something stupid, you can just pop it out and put a new one in. The magic of these connectors is that they only go in one way. You'll see this little, they call it a lock right there, and make sure you align that with the lock right here on the circuit board. All of them should be facing left. xCool reached out to me a while ago and sent me an xCool screwdriver right here. It's an electric screwdriver, and I really enjoy having one of these if you're going to build an entire home cockpit, because you have a lot of screwing down to do. I'm an engineering student. I can easily bring this entire case, throw it in my backpack, don't have to worry about losing anything. I love this screwdriver, but I wish that I could charge it while I was using it. It shows you what setting you're on. There's a little button up here to change the gear. I really do love these drill bits. This is way overkill. I've used other screwdrivers with higher torque, but I do really enjoy the speed. But yeah. We just assembled it, and we can use all of these avionics. They use the same standard. I have the transponder here and a female to female IDC 30-pin connector. I can plug it in on the back of the unit, plug it into the IDC 30 connector right here. Now, what pins does it go to? You could just flash the .MFMC that I provided in the video for the transponder, or you can go to the Cessna 172 fantabulous spreadsheet. And now, I'm not lying, it's pretty fantabulous. Now, if we go under the tab IDC All Components, and this spreadsheet's a whole can of worms. I might go over it some other day. We have all of the devices, so GNS 530 and transponder KT76. Let's say I want to have a transponder and a GNS 530. Now, if you do that in MobiFlight, you just go to MobiFlight modules, and you have to do it all manually. There's no real way to merge configurations, yet, at least. Pin 3 on the IDC is ident, but that is a button, and it is IDT on pin 10, 0 on pin 11. Now, this could take a while, because I have to count all the way up to 7, and I lose track. So, what if there was a better way to do this? Well, that's great you ask, because that's the subject matter of the video. What if instead I could just press this button, get all of this junk, and then upload that directly? Look at that. It has com swap. Now this is all the GPS stuff. And then it has ident, pin 10, 0, pin 11, 1, pin 12. This is all exactly how I had it set in my spreadsheet over here, and it did it in a matter of seconds. Say you have a crisis. We won't specify what time of life that is. It's irrelevant, and we want to trade our transponder here for a KR87ADF that may or may not be in the works. And we can just copy this, paste it into our spreadsheet, and then re-click the button, and we have it all updated with our latest thing. We can even open it up again, and what do you know? Right here we have our ADF stuff, like ADF push, BFO push, FRQ push, all the pushes. It's just that easy to like change out modules. It's amazing. I may be biased, but first we gotta go over some of the core things that make this work. I present to you the IDC standard. IDC stands for insulation displacement crimping. That's just the connector style. But I'm using a standard that is pretty common in electrical engineering, where pin 1 is always ground, and then I've also made pin 2 always 5 volts. Now this allows you to put any connector anywhere you want. Sweet! So we have our power taken care of, but a lot of things require PWM pins. And so let's share these evenly against all modules so that every module has the equal shot of having a PWM pin. Now we'll go on to specialized connectors in a second. I'll even remind myself. Ayo. And then it goes out to digital pins. And now these are useful for input and output, basically anything. They're not special pins at all, except for 13 and 14. Now pin IDC 13 and IDC 14 could be SDA and SCL if you need something to connect to whatever it's called. What's it called? Oh yeah, an I2C module. This is the standard. This just makes sure that if you need those pins, they're available. And then you continue digital pins until you're almost at the end, where you have your analog pins. So no matter the connector size, you always start with power, then go on to PWM, then go on to digital pins, where IDC 13 and 14 are SDA and SCL if you need them. And then you continue through digital, and then you go into analog. Now special connectors, they should follow this same standard, but say you need like an annunciator where it has a bunch of PWM pins. Now you could just make all of these PWM pins, except for like the last ones could be analog pins. Say you have like a giant throttle panel, you can make like all of these analogs if you need, but just follow this like kind of order. That's the main idea. Anyways, this is kind of preachy. You don't have to follow this standard, but if you do follow this standard, then you can just take something out, plug it in somewhere else. Now, I took this standard that I've devised, crafted, if you will, and made it into the IDC breakout system. Now, this is a little overwhelming, but I just made it so that this column right here is this column right here, and then it's followed by your 2 IDC 20 pins, followed by your IDC 30 connector right here, and then it just mirrors itself for the other side. You will notice there's like 1 or 2 extra pins at the bottom. If you want to use those, you can. Up to you. I call these 40, 20, 20, 30 boards because you can connect a 40 pin connector, or instead of 40 pins, you can split it into 2 20 pin connectors. This is because if you divide 40 in half, it's 21.3745, and you round that down to 20. Sorry, I thought I shouldn't. Never mind. You'll see these all follow the same system. Start at ground, go to 5 volts, go to PWM, go to digital pins, end with analog. And same thing here, except for this starts with PWM, and because it could be as little as a 20 pin connector, it starts with PWM, continues to digital, has your pin 13 and 14 for SDA, SCL, and then continues to analog. A little weird, but bear with me. Bear with me here. These are just statistics. If you're using a 30 pin connector and then there's 1 extra pin, you go to 31, it's 76% efficient because it wastes 9 pins. That's all just random math. I just like numbers. They make me happy, except for the ones that make me sad, which is most of them. That was a lot of words, but the main takeaway is start your connectors with ground and then 5 volts, and you'll be all good. If you follow this style of ordering, it makes it even better. So that's my amazing Technicolor spreadsheet magic, and you can find this in the description, and make sure to make a copy if you haven't already. It's also attached to this script file. We have the IDC pin numbers that we don't really care about in terms of MobiFlight. We have the names of everything, which are important. I suffix an encoder A with _A and an encoder B with _B, just a handy hint. We can now click me to make an MFMC. It's a great song, by the way. Before we press this magical button, we gotta give it some permission. So go to Extensions, App Script, and let's give it all the permission it needs. So this is the code that's actually running to like kind of churn out my spreadsheet into a MobiFlight file. For security, just to point out some things, it's only taking your active spreadsheet, so the one right here. It's not like eating all your Google Drive files or anything. And it's only just like parsing all of this data. It will scare you in a second just because I haven't verified this code with Google. When you click run, it's going to say you need authorization. So review permissions. I'm going to sign in. And then it's saying, oh my gosh, the developer hasn't verified. Go to advanced and then go to spreadsheet right here. And as I just said, it is safe. I just haven't verified it with Google. You can look through it if you'd like to. Now select all and continue. So now it can finally run. And it's ran right here, and it's even created your file in Google Drive. So if we go back to our copy, it gives you this pop-up right here. Select it all, Control C, and add it to a blank notepad. And then you can file, save, and then just save it as, let's say, Arduino_board. And then instead of saving it as a text document, we'll go to all files, so it doesn't care what the suffix is, and save it as a .mfmc. And then we can just click save. Now I have a blank Arduino right here, and we can open up the file we just made. And voila! It has all of this right here. It makes me want to tear up a little, to be completely honest. 21, 22, A0, A1. It matches perfectly. Alright, so you can upload this, and then all you need to do is open up your two files. So this would be the transponder right here, assign right there, and it'll map all of these buttons right here. We can even check this if we turn on debugging. Hey, so I click 7 and 7 appears. I can click 0, ident, VFR, and it all worked. I did change back to the GNS 530, so I'm just going to also put the GNS 530 into this file right here. So you can go File, and then instead of opening one, you just click Merge. Open it up, open it up, open it up, open, and select the orphan serial right here, click Assign, and now it has all the transponder stuff and the GPS stuff. And if we click one of these buttons, we'll realize that that's nav swap, that's com swap, and we have all of the encoders working too. So this is awesome. This just saved maybe 2 hours of just like clicking a bunch of things like a maniac. If you enjoy spreadsheet magic like I do in the transponder, if you don't want to make 7 buttons that are just 0, 1, and then drag and boom, all the way up to 7. Just saved you like 3 seconds that you wasted clicking this button. But that's not a point. Anyways, I am actually open sourcing this because I want everyone to be able to use this cool standard. So you can find the Gerber files for free on my Patreon, and then all of the entire like system, including this this code right here, on GitHub. So so help yourself. If you don't want to go through the hassle of putting them into production yourself, I sell them on my website. Have fun tinkering. If you make any improvements, I'd love to see them. Thank you so much for all of your support. I'm really excited to be making content again. I have a lot of exciting developments, and I think I have energy to make videos on them too, even though there's a lot of complaining that goes behind them. Thank you so much to Alexandre, Bala, Ben, Chris, Christopher, David, ECD Crew, Herman, Joseph, Juan Fortis, Marcelo, Morgan, Pierre, Pim, Scott, and Tuna Power! I can't wait to post my next video. Thank you so much for watching. Have a absolutely fantabulous day, and I will see you next time.